Artificial intelligence and new age technologies can play a crucial role in enhancing homeland security by improving threat detection, response, and overall preparedness. Technologies like facial recognition, surveillance and monitoring, and machine learning and pattern recognition can sometimes raise ethical concerns of privacy, data safety, and misuse. Geospatial intelligence can provide real-time data on natural disasters. Natural language processing can analyze written and spoken language to identify terrorist threats, and drones and UAVs can assist in traffic management and firefighting and disaster response. In our next session, our experts will discuss how to maximize new technologies to get the most output. Please welcome our speakers for this session with a round of applause. Please welcome Shri Vimal Vaklu, former CMD Telecommunications Consultants India (TCIL) and Director Public Police NGO. He will be chairing this session. Please also welcome our other speakers for this session. Brigadier Raja Bhattacharjee, retired Senior Manager, Technology Consulting, Ernst & Young. He will be the moderator for this session. Please welcome our other speakers for this session. Shri Atul Rai, co-founder and CEO, StackQ Technologies Private Limited. Shri Dinesh Singh, Chief Information Security Officer, CISO, and Data Protection Officer, DPO, Lina AI. Shri Sandeep Sinha, Director, Risk Consulting and Managed Services, Midcat Advisory Services Private Limited. Dr. Brajendra Mishra, Technical Lead, Disaster Risk Reduction and EO, MAP My India, CE Infosystems. A round of applause for all our speakers on stage. I would request our session chair to please address the audience, and then I request our moderator, Brigadier Raja Bhattacharya, to please steer the discussion between the panelists. I request all in the audience to please settle down and take your seats. In case there is any important phone call or discussion that you need to have, please take it outside the hall. I'll hand it over to Shri Vimal Vaklu to give the opening comments, and then to Brigadier Raja Bhattacharya.
Thank you.
With due permission of the organizer, what we'll do is I'll just sort of gather our attention to this session, and then we'll start. So I have good news and not so good news. Good news is we'll now hit the ground running and see the on-ground things about emerging technology. The not so good news is your lunch is delayed. Now between your lunch and yourself, am I. I will keep the session short, to the point. I'll expect all of us to be to the point. Now, in this session, we'll start with Shri Vimal Vaklu, who will give an overview of how emerging technology is there in various facets. And then we'll move on. We've got a very rich experience of artificial intelligence, risk management, and so we'll proceed in that direction. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank ASSOCHAM for giving me this opportunity to speak over here. I have a small presentation here just to sum up my thought process over here. Of course, sometimes I feel it's like carrying coal to Newcastle, because all of you seem to be experts over here. But then I thought I would like to share some of the views about the emerging technologies. So I'll be talking about the artificial intelligence, other emerging technologies for managing new India challenges of safe and secure India. So what is Homeland security? Homeland security, as we say, it's a multidisciplinary thing. Some of the aspects have been discussed, but it broadly covers people, infrastructure, and assets from a variety of threats and hazards, both natural and man-made. And we are faced with all of them. So here, the various domains which come under this is counterterrorism, border security, immigration and custom enforcement, critical infrastructure protection. It includes aviation industry, transport security, energy security, cyber security, intelligence and information sharing, public health preparedness, man-made pandemics as we have seen 3 years back, law enforcement, also emergency management, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear defense. This is going to be the biggest challenge in the years to come. And also, we have a lot of disasters here, disaster recovery and reconstruction. Now, what are the main challenges faced by nations in terms of security and safety? We have seen that there have been a lot of terror attacks, suicide bombers, Pulwama attacks happened, incursions from across the border. We are all aware of it. And similarly, the other challenges are disasters, which we have been facing in many of the states, including terror attacks, earthquakes, tsunamis and floods, and collapse of buildings, collapse of flyovers. These all are a big challenge. Now, other are food, of course. Just now there was, Anirudh talked about food also as a part of the SDGs. I have a question for him, but since the time is short, maybe we'll do it offline. That's a major challenge because nowadays you'll see the food prices are increasing, literally going out of the roof for the whole world. And this is a major challenge, and that's why the government has been forced to cut on export of food products. And what is the solution for that? It's really smart agriculture, and that also comes under this. First, we have to ensure this security, because without this, nobody can survive. Health is another one. We have seen how pandemics affect, and the challenges of CBRN, as I mentioned in the beginning. Also, the energy. Energy is a major challenge. We have to ensure fuel supply, and that is what the government did when we got cheap Russian oil. Otherwise, the inflation would have gone through the roof. So these are some of the challenges. And the other part is the security of our power grids. We have been taught a lesson a few years back by our friends. Within they have taught us how they can bring us down on knees. So we have to be careful about that aspect as well. And infrastructure. There are a lot of challenges to infrastructure as well. Bridges can be blown up, bringing the whole country to halt. And we have to ensure a continuous monitoring of all that. So there are some emerging technologies which are already there: artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, extended reality, big data analytics, drones, digital twins, and quantum computing. These are some of the things which can really help in our security and safety. Now, how exactly they do that? Like, for example, artificial intelligence, of course, there are experts here who will dwell more on that. Threat detection and prediction, this is one important aspect. Cyber security, this is the other one. The other, border and immigration control, it might be completely taken over by artificial intelligence after some time. Infrastructure protection, this is one important aspect. Counter-terrorism, and also proactive policing. These are some aspects of it. Now, I'll try to skip this, but just to mention quickly that it was artificial intelligence which helped, for example, Israel in developing an app-based detection. So in future, if there are similar challenges, it can be met. So there are blockchain, asset management, smart city governance, money laundering tracking, because that's a major source of terror funding. So this particular aspect has to be taken care of. Disaster management in order to ensure data protection, coordination among various stakeholders, health data protection, and supply chain management. These are some aspects where blockchain can play a big role. Big data analytics, which ensures a crime and criminal tracking system, which we already have in the country in a number of cities. Smart policing. And there is a big challenge, as was being discussed in the previous session also. It's not only killing people. You can bring down the country on its knees when you damage the economy of the country. So that can be done through banking and security frauds and other such challenges. So healthcare, big challenge, as we mentioned, and disaster management can be taken care of with this. Now, extended reality is a big boon in the healthcare sector and in emergency response as well, in military detection, and also educating citizens about various facets of challenges we are faced with and how they can be proactively involved in it. Internet of Things, infrastructure monitoring, bridges, flyovers, highways. In agriculture sector, we can ensure precision agriculture, weather forecasting, disaster preparedness in preventing measures also. And monitoring water bodies, because even water bodies can be polluted. There can be a big challenge to those also by the enemies. Drones play a major role not only in agriculture, disaster management, geo-survey, shipping and delivery of parcels which can be used in emergencies, security, and also monitoring and operations. Besides that, there are a lot of applications in the health sector also in terms of first aid kits, defibs, and pandemic essential supplies, and even transporting patients. 3D printing, whenever there's a damage to bridges or you need extra housing, you can look at 3D printing. There was a mention by Dr. Vikram Singh in the morning that 3D printing is used for creating AK-47 rifles. It also has some positive aspects in terms of creating bridges which can be constructed in less than 24 hours, and even housing in just 24 hours, and also manufacture drones quickly. That's the other facet of it. Quantum computing in cyber security is, of course, a double-edged weapon. We can talk about it later as we discuss more. Drug developments, when you have an emergency like a CBRN, as I mentioned. Energy sector, speeding up machine learning process. So conclusion, homeland safety and security are of paramount importance to any nation. And India is vulnerable from some of our unfriendly nations and their sleeper cells within the country. Emerging technologies provide a solution in meeting a host of these challenges. And these technologies also open big opportunities for business fraternity in India, who can be partners of the government in providing solutions. For that, sky is really the limit. Thank you. This is my guru, Dr. Kalam. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for a very wholesome introduction into this topic, and we are the richer for that. Now, before we go into the hands-on case studies about technology, I will invite Commander Sandeep Sinha. He will bridge us from this very wholesome introductory talk to technology. Sinha, please tell us about the elements of risk and how are we linking that to technology at a next level. Please, over to you.
Right, sir. Thank you. It was a wonderful overview by Mr. Vaklu, and he has practically left nothing more to be said, but I will try and add value to some very, very pertinent points that he brought out, and also what the previous speakers of the previous sessions have brought out. So now if you see, we are talking about homeland security, and that, as has been discussed, is a very, very widely worded and very wide meaning term, which is increasingly finding use, at least in the government circles and also in certain industry circles too. So now, as far as India is concerned, you will find that there is an agency for almost everything. We tend to look at emergencies, and this has been proven time and again. We tend to look at emergencies in silos. We tend to look at security also in silos. This is not to say that there is no coordination. It is just that as far as homeland security is concerned, in order to be effective, this cross-silo integration is important. Now, when we are talking of homeland security, and sir, I will come to technologies, you have government agencies, quasi-government agencies, and private industry. It is almost a foregone conclusion that the government will not be able to provide complete and comprehensive security, given the fact that India is getting increasingly urbanized. It is also a known fact that the private security industry is one of the largest sources of employment and semi-organized body which can actually support the government. Just to quote a few statistics, the number of security personnel or police personnel per lakh of people in the United States of America is approximately 240. Whereas in India, it is not even half that number. So if that be the case, private security industry has to play its part. Now, where all can private security industry play its part? It can play its part in urban management, law and order management, being the eyes and ears of the government, in smart policing. It can help nominated government agencies in implementations of rules, laws, regulations, and policies. Why? Because the number of people employed in private security agency is almost, by some counts, 12 million. Now, if we were to look at the forthcoming 10 years, what are the various kind of risks that we can see? The risk landscape is very, very wide, and risks are multidirectional. There can be security impacts of technology risks, socio-economic risk, environmental and safety risk, and you can go on and on. Till a few years ago, and till around 3 years ago, not very many companies were talking of the impact on security in their business from the then upcoming data privacy bill. But today, irrespective of the nature of business that a company is involved in, they are looking at data privacy and data management with a very, very sharp lens. Now, why is this important to security? When we say that we are ensuring security of a building, we are talking of a number of sensors, we are talking of number of procedures, that we will note down the Aadhaar card, we will take the picture of a person, we will relate it to his PAN number, we will take his phone number, and we will do everything. And when the person moves in a building, we will give him a card and we will monitor where he moves, which door he opens, and for how long he opens. Now, all in all, we are going to be sitting on a lot of private data. And is the present security industry in a position, both in terms of awareness and wherewithal, to understand the implication of this private data? I don't think yes. Now, technology is the only thing that is going to keep our day-to-day lives and businesses secure going forward. And a number of such technologies have already been mentioned. Artificial intelligence, machine learning is the flavor of the day. I will not go into specific use cases because I know that there are better experts after me who will take that on. Now, the sources of data pertaining to security are going to be very, very wide. where the integration is going to happen and how the analysis is going to happen is also a matter of great debate. The fact is that security will have a lot of data. This use of this data is going to be found by many, many agencies towards homeland security. We have been talking about drones. Now, again, drones are a two-edged sword. And history tells us that any new technology finds its bad uses first. Drones at one point of time were being discussed for agriculture, for mapping, and how they can be used for disaster management, etc. But the recent 15 months have told us that drones are extremely dangerous. They can be used to attack the capital buildings of the capital of a world superpower, and not always will they be brought down. That is how dangerous a drone can be. Now, the good part is that there are many policies and procedures that the government has brought in to regulate the use of drones. But one single policy that is not there in any form, and here I would recommend that ASSOCHAM takes the lead. What is the government's policy on the use of counter-drone systems by private industry players? So for example, if I were a data center company and I am holding in my servers critical data of certain government agencies or even foreign governments, these are automatically critical infrastructure and very attractive targets. Can I purchase from abroad and install a counter-drone system on my premises? Again, that is a matter of debate. Companies are doing that, agencies are doing that, because it is still a gray area. Can I use a non-explosive way of bringing down a drone that is jamming or emitting high power radiation which will jam the communication or the command link of a drone? That may also disrupt the telecom network of the area. Am I permitted to do that? Again, that is a gray area. So drones and counter drones are going to be big threats and opportunities. And for the better uses, probably my friend from MapMy India will take it on. Artificial intelligence, yes, we are very soon going into a time where there will be very, very widespread use of predictive behavioral analysis backed by artificial intelligence and machine learning. So how a person is moving around in a building or spending time outside the building can be used to predict the chances of such person creating trouble once the person enters the building or not. How articles are lying, how they are disposed, and these all have security implications, and there are several use cases on how these technologies can be used. So all in all, we are heading into very, very exciting times. These times will have great threats and also great opportunities. So I will hand back to the moderator now, and perhaps time permitting, we will discuss more on a few things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. So he has brought the, brought the focus to AI and emerging technology. Before I hand over to Atul and Dinesh and Brijender, who will give us case studies, that's what we are looking for, something that is practical, practicable, what has been done, and what is on the immediate horizon. Let me just take 15 seconds to inform all of you that electricity has been invented. So remember, when electricity was invented, that time the way things changed. That is the same time we are coming now with artificial intelligence. It is the same way everything will get disrupted and upended. To get a short glimpse of that, we'll have now Atul, who will tell us about AI as it applies to homeland security, surveillance, etc. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for setting up the agenda. My name is Atul Rai. I'm the co-founder and CEO of an AI startup called StackU Technologies. So we are an AI startup which is working in the Homeland security for the last 7 years, and maybe we are the first startup which started this particular kind of a thing in Indian market. I'm here to present some of the use cases, how we have drive into some of the crimes in India, how we solve it, from Sidhu Musewala case to, of course, Vikas Dubey, most famous Vikas Dubey case, or from different other cases, how we have used AI in those things, and recently the Prayagraj murder case which happened, of course, in Uttar Pradesh. So just a brief about us. So we are in this market for the last 8 years. So far we have identified 30,000 criminals on record, and 8 terrorist module got busted. We are working with 9 state police forces, maybe only startup which is managing more than 45 lakh criminal record. And of course, we are working with other 2 intelligence agencies and some of the other state intelligence agencies in that way. I'll directly start with the first thing which we started. We started our journey with facial recognition. We were the first startup which started facial recognition, and that too for the Punjab police. It was difficult because we started in 2017. At that point of time, of course, the cameras were not everywhere. I mean, the smart cities, safe cities, all these new things came in 2019 and onwards, right? We were doing that in 2017, and at that point of time, we devised an app where every police force was having an app in their hand, and the record was being created with the same app, and the match was also being done by the same app. The facial recognition work, and this is a real case which I'm showing you. These guys just make a fake passport, go to Canada or other place, and how to identify them. So this is one of the use case. This was the first murder case which we solved in Punjab. So this case happened in front of the CCTV camera, and to be honest, still India lack in CCTV clarity. I mean, you all know the ground reality, and that is what happened in this case. A murder happened in front of the CCTV camera in daylight in 2017 in Amritsar, and person got killed, and we got this footage. And of course, this is where our first, I mean, you can say the first problem statement came, because it was something which match was like this kind of a person, Saraj Mantu. Saraj Mantu was a gang member of Lawrence Bishnoi. The picture which came to us was a turban, and the match which came was like without any turban. And we were also not very confident because it's the first time we are doing facial recognition in India. But ultimately that guy posted on social media, and that got, I mean, verified that, okay, he is the one who did that crime. Because in Punjab, when they do crime, they post on social media. You have seen in recent trends, right, from the Lawrence Bishnoi to everyone. So this is what, I mean, we started with. And so far, as I said, like, we have done so many cases across the India, covered in different states. UP call it Trinit, Punjab call it Pious, Haryana call it Eagle. Even in the G20, we were the one who is managing all the facial recognition across the borders. So this is something we brought to India, and we are proud to do that, because when we say we are AI startup, we have done 25 research papers and 4 patents being an Indian startups in AI domain. Coming to facial recognition, of course, it's now an old age thing, right? I mean, facial recognition now everyone knows how to counter it. So now the technology has been brought where you can counter the AI, and that is we call GANs, right? GANs are generative adversarial network. You train the AI to identify, I mean, how to dodge the facial recognition. Some of the things I'm bringing, because of course we are talking about the Homeland security, we are talking more in terms of how police will catch the criminal. I'm thinking, if I will be criminal, how I'll be basically skipping this technology. So this is how what we did. We just trained it with the GAN model. This is a real criminal. Just a small defect we kept on the image, and it predicted someone else. And that is we call GAN kind of attack on any facial recognition system. If I'll get access of somehow your database, I can make an attack where, I mean, I can be seen like Shahrukh Khan in front of the cameras. So this is what you call the GAN attack. I mean, of course, one is the database. Let's say if I do not have the access of database, I can wear certain accessories which can dodge your so-called prominent facial recognition. For example, this girl can be identified as a Russell Crowe. I mean, difficult, right? Just wear this glass or no glass. I mean, if I can just bring that pattern on my t-shirt, and you will be just your AI cameras or all those, whatever the fancy facial recognitions are there, they will just like confused who you are, right? So these are the things, of course, how to counter that. There are different technologies which has been built. There's a teacher AI model. So actually my background is AI. I have done my master's in AI from University of Manchester. I worked with Graphene Lab which won Nobel Prize for 2010. So I'm just bringing this thing which is, of course, not very relevant in terms of the algorithmic part, but this is something which is being built to identify that kind of attack which is being happening in the facial recognition. How to identify those faces which may be being not identified by your so-called CCTV cameras capable of doing that. Now, the new thing which is coming into the AI, and of course, which has both the I mean, it's a double-edged sword because voice cloning, I mean, you already have now seen it, right? So how to identify voice cloning is one, but now it is also being used by the counterintelligence to dodge the criminals, right? So this is one of the use cases I'm going to present. I hope the audio is working. So this is the audio we trained. I just will play it again. I'm not sure whether it's... And we took this sample, we created a clone of the same voice without that guy to be there, right? And I just typed it. Just 3-minute voice, right? Just think of if I'll get to a 1-hour audio, what we can do with that, right? We can create Modi ji in that way, right? And sending some message to someone, right? Coming to the next part, of course, this is another human sample.
संकेत यही कह रहे हैं कि हमारे किसानों ने पुराने सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिए हैं। संकेत यही कह रहे हैं कि हमारे किसानों ने पुराने सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिए हैं।
The other guy do not exist. That is the AI which is creating that audio like human, right? I mean, that particular person do not exist in this world. And that can speak in your language, and if he can pass technology like ChatGPT, he can do a lot of conversation with you, right? Just think where the AI is. And we still are putting our facial recognition system across the cities, right? And bringing it and making it smart cities, right? So this is where, of course, that is a problem which is coming, but at the same time, we as AI engineers and researchers are solving it through other mechanisms, how to identify cloned voice. So this is another technology which we have brought where we can identify any cloned voice with 98% accuracy. We are working with some of the manufacturer on the hardware side, which can be implemented inside the hardware, like your computer, your mobile phone, which can identify any fake audio or video coming from some sources, right? So this is the clone voice identification technology. Apart from that, recently keystroke identification is another problem statement in the Homeland Security. You type something, AI listen it and identify what you are typing in your computer. So that is another challenge. Recently a paper got published with the accuracy of 98% or 93%. So this is again tough, right? Your cameras are also listening. They also have the audio thing, right? Now, another part which you're also solving is deep nudes. I mean, you just upload your picture. We all upload our photos on Instagram everywhere, right? And how it got evolved. So actually, I mean, from the AI prospect, this AI was created to identify a facade. Let's say, I mean, it's a cancer detection technology. So hota ye ki, let's say if I'll put a segmented portion of anything, right? It will generate the image of it. तो वो आप जो देख रहे हैं left में it is a segmentation. और AI ने इसको बताया कि ये ऐसी बिल्डिंग होगी कुछ, right? इसी टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज किया गया डीप फेक बनाने में. How it does is basically, of course, in the same way, this is like the another image where you take a satellite image and it create a map out of it. इसको again it's a GAN, generative adversarial networks, right? We actually are using it to identify criminals using their sketch. आप sketch draw करो, it will identify like it is matching to which particular criminal. But criminals, what criminals did, they just took a picture of it. They created a basically segmentation area, and then a deep fake, of course, I blurred it, the nude picture. But this is how the nude picture got created, right? You just segment out the whole body part, and of course mask it, and a realistic nude photo will got created. That is how being AI is doing. So there are a lot of community which is working against it. This is one of the community which is working. Let's say somehow your nude picture is being circulated across the media. This is a website. You can complain them directly without going to any police or anything. They will make all your photos down from any of the social media. So this is a collaborative effort from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and other various startups like us who are sending, of course, working with them in collaboration, right? So this is a website, it's an international collaboration, actually started with Facebook, and that way you can use it if you are finding your pictures are being circulated in social media. Now other huge cases, of course, I was talking about the case studies. This is another case. Prayagraj, everyone has seen this in different TV news channels. A lawyer got killed in daylight, bombarded and everything. This was the photographs he got. You can see them on the top, the photograph of the criminal who was throwing the bomb inside that picture. The problem statement was a blur picture, right? Of course, here the GANs or the AI was being used to enhance the photograph, right? Because if you see, of course, all these CCTV cameras and all these sales are good, but if you go to the ground zero, you'll always get a blurred photograph. मतलब वो पिक्चर बड़ी खराब होती है, मतलब वो हम जितना भी टीवी पे यहाँ वहाँ सेल कर लें सीसीटीवी ये वो, बट फोटोग्राफ बहुत खराब आती है. एंड आई एम seeing sitting on the ground zero. So that is where we build an AI technology which can enhance a blurry photograph. So this is what we did with this photograph. We identified this criminal at Guddu Muslim, and another is Usman, right? In the same way, this technology is also being used by various of our intelligence agencies when we do the media monitoring in terms of the international things. I'm just bringing the Indian one, just covering. Okay, I'm just covering it. Okay, perfect. So you can just devise your target. Let's say you are having some Chinese, let's say targets. You just name it. It will, language independent, identify it and alert you. And the last one is the drone one. Of course, you cannot put radar or you cannot buy any kind of a sonar kind of a system of every building. Your CCTV camera can identify any unidentified drone flying on your building. Just train with the AI, train with the signature. This is again live with some of the agencies. We are doing the India-Pakistan border and different other scenarios, right? And of course, satellite image analysis and other different things are there, which we are doing using AI. So it's not like we are in a very early stage as an Indian startup or India as a country. There are a lot of being done. Different intelligence agencies, different police forces, different security forces are doing that. And we are proud that we are helping them in that particular area. So this is actually what we wanted to, I wanted to cover here. The time is up, so we will collaborate sometime, anywhere, anytime after this event, and of course, maybe anywhere apart from this event as well. Thank you very much for this time. And
thank you so much, Atul. Actually, had we had some more time, actually this session from Atul could have been for much more, maybe 2x, 3x. Now, before we move to the next speaker, just a food for thought. अभी तक हम बोलते हैं कि जो पहचाना हुआ फ़ोन नंबर नहीं है वो मत उठाना. अभी पहचानी हुई आवाज़ को ट्रस्ट कैसे करेंगे? That becomes a big challenge. And probably a use case for industry to solve. Probably I need an app in my phone which has to now realize whether this voice is original or not. Actually, the distinction between AI and non-AI, what is real and what is not, is one very important use case for all of us to solve. Before, now I'll hand over to Dinesh, who will talk about AI and decision making. Over to you. Time is 7 minutes.
I'll try to finish it well in advance. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this forum. So, taking ahead where Raja just left the note that now the great challenge is what is real and what is fake. Fake is driven by AI, obviously. So, the focus should now, I believe, for the government and for us, like the corporate or the private sector, is to look at two different sides of the security. One is the offensive side and one is the defensive side. Once you focus on these two areas, then we as leaders will be able to take use these technologies and take a good decision. So, use case of AIs, use case of these large language models, these deep learning, everything, is very much relevant to the top leaders where they are able to take the decisions very quickly, because these models are powerful enough to digest the data in TVs, millions of TVs, and in very short span of time, and will be able to help you to take the decision. So think of AI as another sense, like 7 senses we have in our body. It's the 8th sense which is kind of helping your brain to take the decision quickly. So think of such situation like when you leave your home, you pick up your phone, mark your destination and check what kind of traffic do I have, and then you take a decision in how much advance you want to leave from your place. So in the same manner, right, this AI will help all the decision makers to take the decision in the right manner so that you are able to secure your infrastructure. When we think of Homeland security, so policing, helping them with right kind of information, right kind of intelligence, and taking the right kind of decision factors for them to be able to act upon is the key, right? So what happens here is, if these AI models are used in the right sense of use cases, which can be derived from these, I would say, district level forums, or at a central level, you can drive these kind of sessions from where these use cases can be pulled up, and these AI models can be then well trained to cater to those use cases, which can eventually reduce the number of policemen, number of internal security staff that you need to cater to your population. I think I would support to the words what Sandeep said initially, that in US we have X amount of number, 200 some policemen who are kind of safeguarding citizens. AI with them can reduce that number to a significant low, to even 4 or 5 to that extent. So think of that. I see this age to be less of population, more of AI. AI will do more of our brain jobs, more of our tedious job, which needs lot many people to process it together, right? Now you need one person to take the decision based on the input of the AI. But the catch is, AI is not God, right? AI has its own problem. When I say problem, because I, as a chief security officer and the privacy officer, I look at both the aspects together, security and privacy, right? So from a privacy perspective, AI is, I would say, a blind animal which doesn't know what is what. It will digest everything and process the way the person is requesting for. So we need to put right guardrails, right? Organizations, governments should focus on drafting, or maybe coming up with policies, how AI, how these next generation technologies to be used in a manner that they are socially acceptable. So some of the things which I captured during this session only were AI being responsible, right? It should not happen that when we use an AI technology, it is doing something which is kind of absurd, and we can't hold it responsible for, right? And it should not, as I think you rightly suggested about equality, right? So in a general scenario, equality is seen as gender equality, right? But in a technological scenario, it could be anything. It could be age, it could be your orientation, right? It could be your political view. It could be anything by which you can divide the society, right? So this particular thing, right? So the AI should be used in a way that it is not creating any kind of bias in this, right? So look at World War II, what happened there? There was a bias, right? So Nazis had a bias towards a set of population. They tried to kill it. Similar thing can happen at any point in time using these kind of technologies. So as I initially started with, right, both offensive and defensive, both the areas needs to be taken together. Otherwise we'll leave. We'll not be at par with our competitors. When I say our competitors, in terms of defense, our competitors are those countries who doesn't maybe want to want to see us at a forum or at a platform where we are equitable to them, right? For example, China, for example, or any other countries. I would really refrain from taking the names, right? Traceability is another factor, right? Whatever these AI technologies, these futuristic technologies, whatever we give them the name, right? Whatever they are doing, it should be traceable back to the root. If not, then they can take decisions, they can do anything, will not be able to trace. Because now with these AIs and everything, we are going towards autonomous machines, autonomous decision technologies. These technologies are equally good, but they are equally dangerous also, right? So we need to be careful on that, right? And obviously reliability and governance is the fundamental thing there. They need to be reliable. It should not be that in 100 cases it has proved to be 99. It has to be that in 100 million cases it was able to prove that in 99.99% it was accurate. So that kind of approach we should have, then only we'll be able to think of. AI is not future, AI is today. On a day-to-day basis, I work with AIs. I work with these learning models. These are small set of technologies, but they have power. They have, I would say they have power to change the mind of others. I have seen things happening that if you ask these models something, they'll put the story in such a way that you tend to believe it. And if you don't have these guardrails in place, you don't know what bad it can impact, how badly it can impact the society or whoever is the decision maker, right? So, I think for the paucity of time, I would really want to conclude here and not bore with my gyan. So, yeah, I would really request Raja to take it ahead.
Thank you so much, Dinesh. So he is, in fact, we've not heard applause for my fellow panelists till now. So we need to wake you up. I'm sorry I did not call for this for Sandeep and Atul. It counts for you also, please. And of course, Baklu sir. Right, before we move on to our last speaker, Brijesh, I'll just flag 2 points which Dinesh has made, very important ones. One is the bias in the system. So AI is a black box. You ask him a question, he'll give you an answer. Now there is this phrase known as responsible AI. So we need to know what model it is following, what is its input and how is it thought about it. So it's a very important thing that Dinesh has highlighted. Another thing is talked about is autonomous AI, right? So we'll not go into doomsday scenarios where AI, general intelligence, takes over the world and consumes all the energy required, because all these large language models, as they become bigger, they'll consume more and more energy. So it's for us to keep it in check and be responsible. So I'll now hand over to Brijesh, who's going to see AI from the other side, from geography, location awareness. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all. I'm Dr. Vijay Mishra. I think today we discussed a lot of things about the AI technologies, and many speakers told about their limitations, their advantage. So as a Map My India, I would like to apprise the August gathering what kind of technological innovations Indian private players are doing, and how these technologies are helping government of India and state departments to minimize the risk basically. And these technologies are using with various kind of departments, like from police personals, from disaster management authorities. So there are so many kind of applications are there for artificial intelligence. But at the outset of Map My India, as we are providing a location intelligence, location-based services to the private players as well as government industry, what kind of innovations we did, that we are showcasing here. So in this presentation, I will only talk about the how AI technologies and innovative like big data analytics are helping in reducing the risk. So I will first quickly, I will go through the global scenario and aspect of disaster occurrence at a global level as well as India level. So this is the World Risk Index report, what tells about the frequency of disasters at a global level. If we see here, India is ranking at a top 2, So I think in the coming years, India can face, recurrent disastrous event from extreme weather events to geological hazards. Like in this year also, we faced, a rigorous or recurrent activity of flooding. Recently in Himachal Pradesh, we have seen what happened in Delhi. So in Assam, it's already going on. So we have seen. This is the global picture of, flood incidents recurrence. So India is also, putting and in a high risk zones. This is the cyclone occurrence scenario. What kind of events facing in India at a global scale? That's a kind of scenario. This is the map of landslides. These are the three hazards which are mainly damaging global economy. Like I think in India itself, almost every year we are losing billions of dollars due to these disaster events. And how we can minimize this risk? This, I think, global platform, UN, Sendai framework, SDGs, they are all setting a goal as well as this providing a framework how the technological innovations can be utilized by the government agencies and authorities to minimize the risk and damages. This is the landslide event between 2004 to 18, and here also India is at a ranking at a top 2 level. So these are the disaster related issues at a national level. So basically in the recent time, flood, drought, cyclone, earthquake and landslides are recurrent phenomena in India as a global scale also. Recently, I think Libya and Morocco, what happened? Everybody heard and seen. So this is the picture of Indian territory. Because as a Map My India, we are doing research innovations on location-based things. So I just take you through the what kind of territory and location, what kind of disaster is happening. So the Himalayan territory is very prone to earthquake, landslide, avalanche. Chamoli and Uttarakhand is very much vulnerable, then Himachal Pradesh. Then in the central part, very much vulnerable for drought, floods. And the coastal belt, I think for cyclone, it's a well, renowned and almost damaging billions of dollars. So this is the picture of Indian territory and its scenario in terms of disaster. So now we have seen the location in which India is facing recurrent phenomena of disasters. So how emerging technologies, where we are talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, then IoT, and this big data, as well as blockchain, and we can talk about many more, cutting edge technologies. So how these technologies helping, world as well as India, and how Map My India is doing innovations by using these kind of technologies. So these are the solutions and capabilities in Indian industry. When we talk about industry, means primarily we are talking about the Map My India technological solutions. So we have almost gathered and compiled the entire address of Indian territory from street level to the national level. So we matured in terms of mapping of assets, infrastructure, lifelines, like from road to railways, then location-based addresses. So we have almost very much matured and depth mapping of Indian territory. Then with the temporal scale, because we are frequently using satellite imageries for mapping the asset infrastructure. So with the temporal scale also, we have mapped that what kind of infrastructure was in 2000 and now what is the change. So those kind of analytics we are providing. Now we are also using drone technology for mapping and providing surveillance to the disaster response like flood, landslides. So these are the tools and technologies which we are providing, like we are developing APIs and providing like during COVID-19, we provided our API and map engine for Rahat camp and nearest your vaccination center. So those kind of technology and location-based intelligence we are providing to across the government department as well as private industry. Like Ola, Uber also, we are providing the location-based services to plan, execute their, services. So these are the some of the data products and platform what Indian industry is having. And these are the map platform, because I think CP Plus, they are providing real-time surveillance of any kind of activity. But those activity has to be put or integrated with kind of platform in which you can do the decisions for any kind of mishappening. So like police personals are integrating and establishing their command and control centers. So MapMyIndia having your own platform in which all the real-time sensors, IoT-based sensors like CCTV cameras, then kind of temperature sensors. So those all IoT-based services as well as surveillance equipment can be integrated in a single platform, and authorities can take the decisions. So these are the technologies. These all are basically enabled in the kind of AI ML techniques, because we are also doing a lot of machine learning things, because we have past experience of such incidents. So all those records we put into our platform, and training machine to take a decision at a real-time basis. So these are the platform in which we are providing a routing, search, and geocoding, reverse geocoding, geoanalytics, and mobility. And also drone tech solutions. So I think drone already talked here. They are applications like for survey, for inspections, for mapping, for surveillance. And I'm just showcasing now the real-time solution, what kind of solutions we are providing to the authorities, like using AI/ML based technologies. Like if any kind of flood happens, so in that case, authority needs to do the rapid assessment for damage and loss. So if you have satellite imageries in a real-time basis, we can provide like building footprint mapping. Suppose how much flood inundated in a particular city. So like water logging areas. So these kind of analytics can be very much can be done with the technologies. Then we are talking about also develop a 3D, real-time 3D surveillance and mapping. Then we have our real-time tracking and monitoring platform. I think almost many police authorities, state-level police authorities are using our real-time tracking platform for their managing the transport. Then we have WorkMate solution for like civil defense and DRF, SDRF, they are using for real-time tracking of their resources and personals. Then these are some of the association like Umang app, Damini app. These all apps are equipped with our map technology, map platform. Then these are the AI/ML based tools we are providing, like development and customization of decision support system, real-time resource mapping, IoT based sensors. So that's all. So we can summarize that lot of technological innovations happening inside the country, and we are also doing a lot of innovations to provide and cater the need of industry, government authorities to provide a better response. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brijender. That was a good insight into how technology is being used for location awareness. So, as promised, we have maybe moved forward from our self-imposed 40 minutes by around 3-4 minutes. We are very grateful for all the views put forward by my co-panelists. Seeing the overall subject of this session, I'll just add 1 or 2 points which probably have been at the edges. In fact, Sandeep did talk about drones and the rules and regulations. Some of them are gray areas, so I have not commented upon that. Yes. And so one of very important drone rule regulation that has to come that will really unleash the power of drones is the beyond visual line of sight rule, which is under evaluation by the government. Once that comes, the entire, all the industry will be really unleashing their potential. Lot of drone players have already worked out use cases of transporting medicines to drones. Logistics, of course, is they are ready and waiting for this rule to come out. So that is one part which probably in our conversation it was at the edge. It now just leaves it back to me to just convey my vote of thanks to Mr. Vaklu, Atul, Dinesh, Sandeep and Brijendra. And I request you all to please join me and have a round of applause for them.
Thank you, gentlemen. I request all of you to please gather for a group photograph. And in the interim, I will introduce the next session. We look forward to the proceedings of the last session.